Hello, I'm Captain Iceblock. My hero pool consists of all the heroes named Storm Spirit and Hero What I Do, guides on Storm, other heroes, lanes, mechanics, and everything in between. I also stream, coach, and analyze your replays. To support the content, you can get one of those services or just buy me a cup of coffee on Patreon. And with all that said, let's go.
Storm clouds are gathering!
So let's start off by recapping the changes that happened with the 720 patch. With the Mana Formula rework, Storm has weaker than usual mid-game. This is however offset by his two main items, Bloodstone and Orchid, and also Yules, providing more regen than before. Kaya has also received two upgrade paths, which can boost Storm's weaknesses depending on the match. Threads got increased stats, but its attack speed component has moved onto the face boots. And finally, Storm itself got direct buffs to the intelligence gain, remnant damage, vortex duration plus cooldown, and overload attack slow. Overall, Storm is about the same early game, became slightly weaker during the mid game, and slightly stronger during the late game. To have a good Storm match, not only do the enemy picks matter, but our own team composition too. And currently Storm is best paired with a carry hero that can fight early with minimal farm, such as Phantom Assassin, Juggernaut, Slorok, etc. To understand why, we must understand that Storm works in power spikes. Early game Storm with 2 nulls, threads at the end of the laning phase can solo kill most heroes with similar items. As Storm enters mid-game, and so do the enemy heroes, they will, first of all, start grouping up, which already diminishes Storm's pick-off potential, and they will also start acquiring items that either boost their survivability or straight up allow to disengage or man-fight Storm. And that's where Storm is at his weakest, and needs a strong position 1 to rally the game from that point onward. And once Storm acquires his first big item, that's the second power spike, as he greatly increases his survivability, maneuverability, and pick-off potential. And as always, remember to be careful picking Storm into enemy heroes such as Anti-Mage, Meepo, Huskar, Sky Mage, Grim, and other heroes you feel you do poor against.
Regeneration!
With the changes to the nulls and Storm's intelligence gain, Storm is now very flexible regarding his starting items. Let's see some options. If the opposing mid-hero, such as Sky, Huskar, plans to unload heavy harassment from mid at 1, prioritizing health and regen will help Storm stay in the lane longer. If the harassment is fairly moderate and linear, such as Lina, Queen of Pain, stealth can be skipped and stat items can be more varied. And if the enemy mid is weak at earlier levels, such as Shadow Friend, Meepo, Storm can keep himself extra gold for faster battle, play more aggressive and send out regen later. Now, laning itself is a very complex topic with many variables, and it is impossible to cram everything into a single video, so we'll just go over the general checklists and thought processes. If the creep position can be improved, always pull. If we need to leave the lane for a bit, always push. If there is no vision, acquire it. If regen is running low, get more. If the enemy is the kind of hero that easily snowballs, making sure he doesn't free farm is the priority. Otherwise, maximizing our own farm is the way to go. Vortex has been buffed and can be used offensively on heroes that hang out in melee range, or to help secure the kill at level 6. Remnant is prioritized if we plan to spend a good amount of time in the jungle, and Overload is prioritized if we plan to be doing pickoffs from level 6. This, again, will be unique to every matchup, but we can outline some general ideas. We will always want 2 nulls for slot efficiency, and threads, while lacking the attack speed, provide superior stats to the face boots. Let's not forget to always have TP scroll or chew in the inventory, and most importantly, use clarities whenever there is a walking or a farming time involved. Afterwards, if the enemy has many disables that prevent Storm from functioning, Yules into BKB will help Storm remain relevant throughout the mid-game and catch up after getting Bloodstone or Orchid next. If not facing immediate danger from disables in the mid-game and the laning phase went well, Storm can opt for Kaya Orchid route, provided that enemies won't counter that anytime soon. Missing attack speed will be covered by Orchid, so that's a +2. Overall, most universal build includes classic Kaya anti-Bloodstone, while lacking in offense due to reduced attack speed, increased maneuverability through regen and mana reduction makes up for it. Upgrading Kaya with Yasha or going Orchid next solves the attack speed issue. And lastly, my favorite, although quite niche option, the Midas Storm. The short version is, in order for this item build to work, Storm's laning should go well enough to get Midas anywhere from 10 to 15 minute mark, just as the laning phase is ending. In addition to that, the enemy mid must not be snowballing, and our own position 1 can fight throughout the mid game. With these conditions, what we get is Storm with the most efficient early game attack speed item, which coupled with a stat boost from nulls and threats provide by far the best DPS output out of any other options from the early to the mid game. The drawback here is that without Kaya, mana will be expended faster, and that's why it's important that Storm seeks out teamfights on occupied enemies rather than solo pickoffs. Exactly for that reason, we need our carry to be able to fight early. As the game drags on, Midas starts to pay for itself, and going into late game, Storm acquires items and levels at an ever-increasing rate. Going Bloodstone into a survival item covers the weaknesses of the build. Now, late game items are universal to any build Storm might choose to do. A 6-slotted Storm should ideally have threats, an upgraded Kaya, Bloodthorn, Bloodstone, Linkens or BKB, and Hex. Storm has different game plans depending on which phase of the match it is and how well was previous phase executed. Let's break it down. At level 6, Storm should continuously rotate from lane to the jungle, maximizing his own farm. Seeking out kills at this point should only be done if an enemy tower dives or a teammate arrives to set up a kill. Once Storm's early game item set is complete, usually null threads paired with either Kaya, Yules or Midas, rotations should begin towards weaker enemy lanes. At this point, Storm's an excellent aggressor and can start up fights with ease. However, after the towers fall and either team starts bunching up, that's where Storm should take a more passive approach. Unless our own team is so overfarmed that they can continuously walk down lanes, Storm's new objective is to farm in free or more dangerous sides of the map, and only follow up the fights where the team is either smoked up or the carry leads it. The reason for that is that at this stage of the game, against group enemies, Storm struggles with limited defenses and about 1k HP. If everything goes well, after spending around 10 minutes focused on farming, Storm should now have his first big item and start to actively seek out pickoffs or initiate fights for the team. Now, if things didn't go so well, team continues to lose teamfights, Storm doesn't have an answer to disables and cannot play aggressively, the best bet is to start cutting lanes and try to separate the enemy team. At that point, Storm's objective becomes giving space for the team so that the team can give that space back later. Once full 5-on-5 clashes break out, Storm, assuming the carry can stand against their carry, should be zipping to the backlines, deleting supports. Before BKB or Linkens, it is okay to briefly vanish from the fight, re-evaluate what disables have been used or is about to be used, and tactically re-engage once it is safe to do so. Once Storm reaches level 25, he's at peak power and will usually lead the team, either by initiating a pick-off or making space by cutting waves with just his ultimate. And a 6-slotted Storm can delete most solo heroes, even through Linkens or BKB, provided he uses the Hex Bloodthorn to either disable or pop Linkens then disable. Initial jump usually takes away more than 50% of target's health pool, and Storm can finish the victim during variations of Vortex, Hex, Bloodthorn. And that is all for today. Good luck.
I'm over here! Over here now! Over here! Avenge me! Immortality is mine! Touche!
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is being attacked.
Blow the man down!
Double kill! Dire's middle tower is under siege.